Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always returning. Thank you so much for your show of love. Thank you so much for all that you do for this community to keep growing. Hope you well in all your ways, Your Majesties, and you loving yourself and others like always. I stumbled upon something I was angry about, but I just felt like I need to calm down and show this to you when you leave your comments there at the section. Now, when we talk about slavery, there are lots of melanated, our own melanated people that feel that if not for slavery, Africans or people of African descent wouldn't have the best life they are having now. The sweet life they are having right now, if not for slavery. So we should be grateful for those who came and took our people for slavery. For those who came and did wrong to our ancestors. We should be grateful for the white man because he came make us slaves. And now we are happy, enjoying free money, reparation, enjoying free environment. Because you are in America, and then you believe in those ideology, those things that show you on the mainstream media telling you that be grateful that we came and pick you out of that hellhole. You know, when they talk about heaven and hell, do you know these people feel that Al-Kabulan is a hellfire and America is a heaven? So they tell you to be grateful that they came to Al-Kabulan and picked you out of this hellhole. If not, you would have been living with flies, because we live with flies here. You would have been living without electricity, because we live here without electricity. We don't put on clothes. We're still lying on the street. Like we're still sleeping on the trees. Our life is so down to the earth that they should be grateful, that you should be grateful that you were out. Thereby telling you that they did you good to enslave you. And we have people like this who should be learned. People like this who have a platform. People like these who should kick against what happened to the melanated people, coming out to spit out these things. And she's not alone. There are class of people like this. There are people who have school of thoughts like this.
I think that conversation around reparations does get very complicated, and I know that there are a lot of people that advocate for that. But beyond that, I have to ask you,
what's complicated about it?
Where would you be today without slavery?
That's a great question. That's what we call one of those counterfactual hypotheticals, right? It's hard for me to tell you where I'd be without slavery because our entire history was interrupted by it. But black people, or African people more importantly, had empires. We had civilizations. We had governments. We had order. We had laws. Were we perfect? No society, no civilization is perfect. But the question, where would we be without slavery, would imply or suggest to people that somehow we have benefited from the enterprise of slavery, or that somehow in the aftermath of slavery we're better off than we otherwise would have been. And there's absolutely no evidence to believe that African people were better after interacting with enslavers, after interacting with the European colonists. There's no evidence of that. So I don't know where we'd be without slavery, but I'm certainly sure it's better than where we would otherwise be.
Yeah, see, and I would counter that personally with what we see on the continent of Africa today. I mean, honestly, you talked about some people having, some of the kingdoms and being on the hierarchy in Africa and different countries in Africa, and sure, but those weren't the people that were being sold into slavery. See, so it's like it's so hard to understand.
But Kim, where in Africa? I want you to be a little more specific. Where in Africa can we point to and see any kind of problem, any kind of disruption that hasn't been touched or interrupted by Europe?
You're kidding, right? Okay, so my family is from both.
Name a country that hasn't been. You're saying Nigeria and Cameroon haven't been affected by Europe? That's your argument?
There's many countries in Africa that did not have Europeans colonize it, and they're still down today. Look at the Congo, for one thing. We don't talk enough about the Congo and what they're dealing with, especially when it comes to China and everybody that is going into their country to extract cobalt and lithium and all these things that we want here in America to make us feel good with electric vehicles. So if we want to go down that road, we can go down that road, okay? But at the same time, not every country was invaded by Europeans that then put colonization on their culture and their people. That what did not happen everywhere. But I can tell you right now in Cameroon, you have a situation where you have people running. Go ahead.
Continue. Finish your thought.
Right now. We have tribes in Cameroon right now that are trying to run from the military, run from the government, and it is black on black in Cameroon. This is what's happening across Africa. I'm not saying you being a slave from a family of slavery is great. I'm not saying it for myself either. But you can't sit here and say that your life would have been better without slavery, because we just don't know. We can look back onto the continent of Africa today, and we can say that there are a lot of places where people are leaving, seeking refuge to come here in America, because this is the land of opportunity.
All right, Your Majesties, we have heard everything, and I'm speechless, like I was in that clip. What should we say? Because someone like this is like, it's hopeless to even say anything. With the whole point she have, it shows that she missed a lot. Like from the education she was given, from the history she was taught about the continent, she missed a lot. And this is exactly what I keep saying. They don't teach you what they should teach you. You don't know what you should know. Now, like what he said, the argument, because with what he was saying, I just love the answer he was giving, but she never allowed him to even finish what he had to say. Is there any countries in the continent that never suffered from colonization? Is there any country in Al-Kabula, even what's the name of this country that was never colonized, like they say, Ethiopia? Even if it's said that Ethiopia had never been colonized, there's a lot of things, other things that keep still happening, that had happened, that showed that the influence of the West had always had a power in the continent, and every country is around the continent. So we can't rule out any country in Al-Kabula that never suffered from the white man's influence. We can't rule it out. We have all suffered from colonialism. Al-Kabula is still suffering. They have captured all our leaders and they are using their minds. It's just recently that just a few amount of them are beginning to say something. And even still at that, they are still in their grip. The West is in full control of the continent for a very long time. And then you have someone here, and that's why you see I get to ask myself sometimes, where I get African Americans who have notions like this, I ask myself, but why? So you want to tell me that you're living the best of your life there, where a lot of melanated people by day on the streets are being deprived of the very human rights that America claims they preach, that Europe and America claims they preach. Melanated people outrightly have been deprived of a lot of things. The whole West as a whole, the collective West, was built on the backs of black people. But how many black people are given opportunity to rule peacefully? Or are given opportunity to have whatever they want to have, or the power they want to have? They are still being controlled by the whites. And then you sit up there because you think you have a sweet life. You think you have a car, you have a house, you have clothes to wear, you have the other amenities, or the normal things that humans can have. You think you have some of these things, and you come out to spit out things like this. There are a lot of people in Europe and America, black people who went through slavery, that are suffering as we speak. There are lots that are deprived as we speak. And it's like you never had, you've not been involved. You don't care about them. You don't even know what happened even where you are. All right? You're only interested in the circle where you belong. You don't care about what happened to other people below your circle. These are the kind of people that we have in the melanated community. And you want to tell me that we're going to thrive with people like this? These are betrayals. Because if she could come out to say things like this, just imagine what she say with her white friends behind. I don't know what you think, Your Majesty. But this is not it. And if a lot of us have mindset like this, we have to start throwing it off. All right? I keep saying this. Yeah, there are people that left the continent because they feel the continent have failed them. I don't blame you. But personally, I don't buy into this whole idea of you have to go to the West to have a better life. This is where I am. Because this is my motherland. This is my inheritance. I'm not leaving it for anyone to come. Because when I leave it, who is coming to work in it? And mind you, we are not, I don't know how the media has even placed the continent to some of them that speak like this. But we are not living that bad. All right? We are happy. Even in the face of everything, we still find joy amongst ourselves. Like, we're not happy with the leaders. We're not happy with what is happening, but we are contented. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. We are not living so poor, so in a situation where you will say, oh, we don't have anything to work with. Oh, we are beggars. All of us are beggars. All of us are sleeping on the streets. All of us are sleeping on the street. Mind you, every mineral resources that built the West today were gotten from Alkebulan and are still gotten from Alkebulan. And for your information, the reason why the West is shaking right now is because the continent is saying enough. It's because the continent is waking up. The youth are saying enough. We are tired of this. That is why you see that the West is beginning to shake. No, we need a better ally from Europe or America. If it's Europe or America, we don't want you. We want other people. That is why your continent where you're staying right now, because I know you don't even call Alkebulan your home anymore. You've sold yourself. It's painful to have people like this. I tell you. What do you think, Your Majesties? Leave your comment and thought there at the section, and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself. Love others. Stay safe, stay positive always. Bye for now.